Good afternoon. I have gone to grab Jason from his abode to bring him here. We actually did a live stream for, this is too low. We actually did a live stream for the non-tech channel about 15 minutes ago. Lasted about an hour and 5 minutes. But now...
Well, that was about Star Trek.
It was about Star Trek, indeed. I might put the link to it in the description. I don't know. Yes, actually, I will.
Okay.
But
yeah,
now...
disregard all the cussing.
Right, yeah. Now, we're going to talk about something that relates a bit more to tech. In particular, what is going on with the iPhone XS or XS Max
is going on?
And the regular one. It's okay. First of all, a former Apple employee, like a former high-level Apple employee, has said that Apple's naming system. How's it going, man? That Apple's naming system is dumb. Like a guy who used to work there, he's like, "What the heck is the R for?" Like the 10R. It's what was the last plastic-backed, multiple-colored iPhone?
C.
The C, yeah.
It
5C.
was for color. That was what the C was
color,
for.
cheap, crap. I mean, like, it could be anything.
You know what? How much is here? $2?
200 cents.
You do realize that if somebody said, look, those are two fantastic dollars, I would give you this iPhone 16 gigabyte iPhone whatever C.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I'm going to go buy 2 Dr. Peppers and you can go now.
And you can go now. Leave me.
Leave my presence.
One of the issues is what they call Beautygate. Beautygate.
Whatever.
It's when it's when the front-facing camera is applying too smooth of a effect on people's faces, and evidently people have a problem with this. And I totally understand. Even on the Samsung phones, you can turn on the front-facing camera and then mess around with the facial enhancement settings and blah, 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 and make it look fake. So,
but why?
Exactly. So number one, I don't know why people have such an issue when the iPhone starts doing that. But that's problem number one. And for some reason, it's become like a widely known issue.
I like that. It's the iFugly model.
Yeah, the iPhone F. Love it.
The iPhone FU.
There you go. iPhone.
Fugly undercover.
Fugly undertones. Maybe so.
Okay.
Hold on. I just realize that the only phone that works when they use it is the Note. Hold on, the chat faded from. There we go. If you buy the phone, it doesn't work the way they say. It doesn't. And the whole fact that all these things are popping up is inexcusable for a phone with the price tag that they have. This phone can cost up to $1,500. I almost cussed there. I gotta avoid doing that.
1,500 bleep.
Yeah,
I'll be your bleep.
I wish I had the. You know what? While we're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and.
You're gonna get a little censor button
app. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. The second one, or the third, or whatever number we're on, is Antennagate, or it's the problem where it's having issues with LTE speeds and Wi-Fi speeds. It's supposed to be faster. After all, in the precious keynote, Apple said, "Oh yes, it's 15% faster than the previous iPhone." Or what is it, A12? I think Bionic chip is supposed to be like this.
Yeah, but see,
Abdullah, you can cuss, but
we can't. Yeah.
Feel free.
What makes it a true Bionic would also include organics. Am I right? In the actual
I thought Bionic was, actually, because if somebody's Bionic, that means
so that makes me question Apple's practices. Their stuff is made in China.
Very much so.
And Bionics need organic material.
Are they They're taking the natives.
And
it's like what was it?
You didn't do a good
Todd.
job, so you're going to be in the next iPhone series.
It's like you are literally part of Apple now. That's funny. It's like Sweeney Todd.
Exynos processor rename is what it is.
There we go.
We apologize for the delay. Sorry about. What do you mean that bionic joke was bad? That was a great bionic joke.
Jason's hand.
Yeah, I'm just about to start knife handing people. That was, I mean, it was a pretty bad joke. But, I mean, seriously, everything that I've ever heard about bionic requires organic material to be bionic.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really understand what makes it bionic. I mean, is there fish guts in it?
It's a fancy name that it's a marketing name. That's all it is. Just like, you know how with and I don't know if, because Jason's been running his own business and hasn't had an incentive to like look into and dig into all this stuff. So the iPhone XR or XR is still using the LCD display. It's not using the OLED or AMOLED or whatever. Not a screen that was designed or made by Samsung. And I told you what they're calling it, right? They're calling it the Liquid Retina display.
They've been calling that for years.
No, not the liquid part. The Retina part. They've used that since the iPhone 4.
Yeah, Retina display.
Mm-hmm. But the same way as they chose the name Bionic. I agree.
Yeah.
iOS
is just boring.
See, here's something that I haven't told you.
You remember I said something about that a couple of years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the interface has never changed.
No.
Not even once.
And that kind of works for them in the way that people who use iPhones on a regular basis, on a year after year, they upgrade to the next one, and then try to what's going on here? Focus, please. Thank you. Then
it's all the awesomeness on one screen. I can't handle it.
I like Jennifer's thing. iPhone X.
Whoa,
XR,
€2.
Sweet.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
that's
man.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it. Much love. What was I saying? Damn it. Pardon my French. Why do I hate Apple so much? Where do I begin?
Is that weed? Of course it's not.
No, absolutely not.
This is the Aegis Geek Vape.
Is that actually called the Geek Vape?
Yeah. No way. And then this is a waterproof, shockproof, dustproof, almost bulletproof mod, and it runs on a 26650, 26650, and then this is a Mage RTA, which is a rebuildable atomizer, so you rebuild the coil on the inside.
Nice.
Kind of works like a dripper. So
coolio. It is a dictatorship. The reason why
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Didn't mean to take that over.
It's fine. The reason why I can't stand that company is it's a company that has so much power. Okay, there's another thing, or just one way for me to
right, Aubrey? Seriously.
Thank you, Audrey. It explains everything much more eloquently than I'm doing right now. Apple has no pressure to listen to, not no pressure, but not near as much pressure to do what the public wants them to do. Because they, like, for example, the headphone jack. The whole reason, by the way, why they took that out is because they knew that they needed to make a phone that was water resistant, and they could not figure out a way to make that happen while still having a home button. So what they had to do was take the home button out. And without a home button, you have to have, they just put a sealed touch-sensitive circle where the home button used to be, but they needed to put something in there that made you feel like you were pressing a button, the haptic engine. They couldn't fit the haptic engine into the phone without taking out the headphone jack, which also kind of killed two birds with one stone with them because they couldn't figure out how to make a phone with a headphone jack that was water resistant. So they just took it out. So like, oh, no, you don't need headphones anymore. Nobody asked us to remove it. Nobody ever had a problem with the headphone jack. I guarantee you go and look at any of the iPhone users using iPhones that still had headphone jacks on them, complaining about, I hate my headphone jack. It gets in the way. It's annoying. No one said that. Nobody wanted the freaking headphone jack to go away, but Apple's like, well, here's what we're going to do. We need a waterproof phone.
Due to customer metrics. Due to customer metrics.
Oh yeah. It's like a crazy girlfriend who will never.
They're very right. They did it to promote the AirPod sales. Is that what they call AirPods? Those little,
AirPods,
the ones that look like headphones,
but they just
without
snipped
straps.
off the cables.
Yeah.
Did you know that they actually made an accessory that clips onto the
You've
to the
gotta be kidding
AirPods
me.
that basically gives the cord back to you so you don't lose them? It makes it's funny.
So it eliminates the entire. Oh my god.
God.
Somebody called them toothbrush heads.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's totally rude. That's totally right.
Can I jump in?
Yeah. Do it.
So I mean, Apple is a capitalist company, right? So they're just interested in capital gain, right? Steve Jobs was, I mean, he had a very good idea with the iPod, the original iPod. The original iPhone was also a good idea, and at that point, Android hadn't really been developed to be kind of mass marketable. So that was really the only real touchscreen, minus like Palm OS.
And HTC fooled around with it too, but to be fair, it kind of sucked.
Yeah. So they had the first really marketable iPhone. The problem is that the devices, they escalated as far as their capabilities on the hardware side, but they didn't hardly do anything for the user interface. And I believe that the reason that they didn't do that is because they are scared of giving their users power over their own device. That's why you have to jailbreak your device just to be able to do things that can natively be done on an Android device.
That's true.
You know, they want you to use the basic functions of the phone, but they don't want you to go deep into the phone. It's based off of a Unix system, which is based off of Linux, or the other way around. I can't remember which one was first, but Android is based in Linux. iOS is based in Unix. They're essentially the same framework. So if you break them, if you jailbreak the iPhone, you can do some things, but the hardware will limit your capability because they engineered it that way. It'll limit your capability to do things on the device. And they're doing it for sheeples. Sure, it's not on backwards. The camera is backwards. We're using the we're using the front-facing camera.
You can't read the logos, can you? Oh, that sucks. I didn't even think about that.
Well, but people that are here, they know.
I will. Another thing. It's the Phoebes.
Yeah, that's the Phoebes.
Another thing is, iOS was made to look pretty. It wasn't made to be a tool. It was made to look pretty and be
to be
smooth.
funny, the whole entire company is a bunch of toolboxes. So
right, yeah. Exactly. Android was made to be functional. Actually, it was made to be a tool, to be useful, and to increase productivity. Hey, babes. And so they're coming from two different directions. And as time's gone on, Android's had to add things in to make it look prettier, and iOS has chosen, when it feels like it, to include more utilitarian stuff. I mean, because when it first launched, they didn't even have an app store. Did you know that?
What, iOS?
When the iPhone first launched, they didn't even have an app store. So
yeah, exactly. What's pretty about it?
Pretty is very subjective. I will say this. However, with my job, I recently got assigned a work phone, and guess what phone it is?
No,
yeah,
God.
Yeah. So at first, I was like, yeah.
Ask him if he can just add it to your phone.
What's cool about it is that it gives me a chance to have a first-hand look at iOS 12. So I'm going to start making, here you go, Phoebes, go. I'm going to start making a video series about different system apps versus that same system app on the other platform, and like directly comparing the two together, because I haven't had an opportunity to do that until now. What somebody asked something. Oh, Antennagate. So it's, without having looked up a whole spiel and crap load of stuff about it, the issue could be coming from, or it's been suggested that the issue is coming from the fact that Apple is trying to pull away from Qualcomm and use Intel processors instead. there was, and I don't know, I haven't like extensively researched that particular issue, but Apple was fighting with Qualcomm and Intel because one of the two processors, I can't remember which one, was faster than the other by itself. And in an effort to keep equality, I don't even know why they were using Intel and Qualcomm, but they slowed one down to match the speeds of the other. And one of the companies had a big problem with that for good reason. If I made a processor and you made a processor and they were both selling it to a company.
What, iOS is Cisco? Hold on, I need to stop this. Cisco is a networking platform. It has nothing to do with any of the phones at all. I mean, they make switches and routers. The reason I know is because I went to school for CCNA, which is a Cisco Certified Network Administrator.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So, yeah, iOS is not Cisco. iOS is Unix. Sorry, continue, please.
No, that's okay. So that may have something to do with...
Sorry, they are... Cisco did originate the iOS name.
Did they really?
But Apple stole it like they do everything else.
Just like they stole the name iPhone. Did you guys know that? iPhone is actually legally a stolen name. Linksys made the first phone called iPhone. And when Apple, under the command of Steve Jobs at the time...
Actually, we did a video on this.
We did do a video on this. It was a while ago.
That's the one where I backed up over a sign in downtown Plano.
Yeah, he would like walk backwards carrying the camera while I walked and did my thing.
And he didn't warn me that there was a sign behind me. Sorry, go ahead.
But yes, even the name Animoji, they stole that too from a Japanese company.
Yeah.
So the deep voice bear guy.
Oh my God.
That's Jason. There was
deep voice bear guy.
Somebody said Apple created the phone.
No.
They made. Well, I think that he's talking about that they created the iPhone, and they created the phone that they called the iPhone, and yeah, that's true. But one of the other questions that I saw that recently got covered up. For those of you who don't already know, I'm streaming this from my phone, so the space for here, I'm actually putting my fingers on the top and bottom of the feed. It's that big. So I can only see like 3 to 4 messages at a time. So if I miss something,
I'll try to
okay, cool.
read stuff, and I'll stop you here and there.
Yeah.
Well, we understand that they weren't the first smartphone, but they were the first beautified, user-friendly. You know, the Palm OS was not very user-friendly at all. My mom had one for work. She used to be at corporate in JCPenney, and it was horrible even back in the day.
I remember though, back in the day,
black with a green screen, like black on green.
Oh yeah. And then the color screens came out, and like the Palm
Trio.
TX. I remember that. And the Palm Trio. Yeah. God, such a long time ago. No, it's okay, Cal. No worries. Oh, speaking of dongles, there exists here. Let me see if I can find it. There exists a dongle that you can connect
love that word.
to. I know it sounds so dirty. Who made the dongle name? What is there a dictionary definition? Like, is it Latin based or something?
I don't know.
They had to use it, or did somebody just say, it hangs from the device, so kind of dangling. We can't call it a dangle, so why don't we call it a dongle?
You know what? They should have just called it Lieutenant Dangle.
Home button.
What do you think Apple can do if they started innovating for real on their phone?
I see. Here's why. When all over the comments, there are people who say that iOS runs faster than Android. And in many cases, that's correct. But only by a little bit, and in some cases, they're the same. And in some cases, they're faster. For example, apps download from the Play Store considerably faster than they download from the Apple App Store. But my point is, you take a guy with t-shirts and shorts on, and then you take a guy with long clothing and a loaded backpack full of supplies. This guy's going to run faster, but he can do way less than this guy. So I will take the couple of, like the milliseconds difference, maybe a second or two difference, depending on which app you're opening, in exchange for the mountain of extra stuff that's available on the Android operating system. They call it the most advanced OS in the world, the most advanced mobile operating system in the world, iOS. When It's not. You're so limited. How in the world is it more advanced than something that gives you way more tools? And just, I don't know. I'll put it this way. If they opened up iOS to the degree that Android is, I guarantee you that it would not be near as fast. Yes, they need less power to push the operating system to go as fast or faster than Android, but that's because their workload is so much fucking lighter, you know. And I feel like if they tried to do all the other stuff that Android does, then their speed would significantly decrease.
So there's two questions. Okay. Well, not. So hey guys, can you name one thing that Apple did in fact invent?
The Lightning connector.
Okay. There's one.
But even then, they didn't really need to.
Yeah. And then I think Samsung is held back by Android. They should have made their own OS. They did their watch, which is Tizen. A
quick thing about Tizen, and I see a lot of comments about this too, is that people say that Samsung needs to make their own operating system, and it would take at this point in the game for a company even as big as Samsung to try to break into the smartphone OS market that's dominated by iOS and Android. It would take so much money for the marketing of it. You would have to market the crap out of it, and you will not succeed in introducing a brand new OS for phones unless you have at least 1 million of the most used apps, most downloaded apps in the world. And even then, it would be so hard. And it would have to be easily integratable with anything that's compatible with Android, because there's so many, like cars, for example, they're starting to have Android compatibility and Bluetooth headsets and all this accessories.
They've been Apple OS compatible for years and years and years. Several vehicles just come standard, but they have no connectivity to anything Android, because they know that the sheeple will be using the... Oh, dude.
No offense taken, man. It's okay.
No.
We thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. I get it a lot. We know several people that make their comments, but
yes, I have had an iPhone, by the way.
Yeah, he's got one now.
Yeah, it's a work phone. I didn't buy it, and I don't pay for it either. It's a work phone.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, now they're starting to. So, whenever they first kind of came around with Bluetooth for cars, you couldn't even see the track. You could connect the phone, but you couldn't see the track you were playing. Not a name, not a like a track, a CD picture. You know, none of that was able to be done. And now they're coming around to where they can do it. And so it's coming out to be where more Android features are making it into vehicles now. So that way your connectivity is kind of like that. Whenever you connect an iPhone to a vehicle, you know, all the stuff pops up. And now they're starting to do that with Android, which is way better, in my opinion.
iPhones are trash.
They are trash.
They're at least okay. Here, I don't think that they are.
Here, let me use that I can read the chat comments.
I don't think that they're bad. Oh, by the way, it's not a Tab 4; it's a Tab S3. But the Tab S4 is a very attractive option. But I know almost nothing about it. The reason I don't think they're bad phones. I think that they're asking way too much for what they're offering. That's like the long and short of it. Thanks, big
no
guy,
problem,
Rohit. Actually, that's pretty. There's hardly any delay on that at all.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty
I was
good.
thinking like.
So I'm reading all of your comments. So I'll try to track down what he's doing.
For what they are, by the way, I probably should be working on this today. I'm gonna have to finish it before tomorrow because I have some other stuff to do tomorrow for work. But there's a video that I'm going to put out tomorrow that talks about like the differences between iOS and Android in a way that I haven't explained it before, at least not on here. And it's going to be using like, actually, you know what? I will offer a sneak peek for like 5 or 10 seconds.
So people, Odgebodge said people only buy Apple for the brand. That's why people buy cases with the massive hole in the back so you can see the Apple logo. It's very much a status symbol. And matter of fact, we went to Starbucks earlier, and there was a guy sitting on an iMac, very looking very millennial.
That's good, Gustavo. That's good.
And looking very millennial. He had the earbuds in. I saw while we were on our way in, because he had his back to the front window, I could see that he was only on Facebook and listening to music. And
thank you, Ethan.
And he was just sitting there looking at the women that walked in. And that means that he was there for the pretty much express purpose of trying to pick up women with his status symbols, which were his iDevices and his little, Apple Buds. He had a scarf on. That's what type of guy I'm talking about. This guy that was just kind of like looking like a total D-bag. And he was just there with the express purpose of picking up women and was giving them eyes on the way in and out. So, all right, go ahead, Taylor.
How is it on the tab? The stream is the correct way around it on PC. It's reversed. That I'm not entirely sure. I've played around with, the reason why I'm doing it on my phone is because I played around with trying to stream it with like my camera connected to the computer and blah, 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 like higher quality with the better microphone and all that. Every single time I've tried it, it's ended disastrously. So I'm just going to have to test it on some non-public channel and get it all the kinks straightened out. But this has been the most reliable way to do the live streams and respond to comments and stuff. So that's why we're doing it this way. A little peek at what my plans are for the video tomorrow. It's I'm not an artist. I am not an artist, but here's 5 or 10 seconds of what it will look like, or the way I'm trying to.
You rarely have any problems at the grocery store as long as you're a good little customer and go there, pick your groceries, then go and check out, and then go home. You'll almost never have an issue. But you have to go on the same road, get the same cart, and pick your food by going through the same order of aisles every time. More monotony, less possibility for problems.
It's going to be that kind of approach. And again, I thought maybe a visual representation of a city analogy will work. So that's going to be coming out tomorrow. Where were we? Somebody asked something.
Sorry.
No worries. Oh yeah, the sound effects that I had to use were monstrous. The iRev doesn't have bumps.
1 gig of RAM on an iPhone is faster than 2 gigabytes of RAM on an Android.
And again, I think that comes from just decreased workload. It's not doing as much. And for example, the Notes app on iOS 12 and the Notes app for Samsung. There's just, and again, it could come back to familiarity versus unfamiliarity, like the video I posted a month or so ago. But it seems so, and I don't want to use this word because people use it all the time as kind of an insult, but it seems so basic and almost bare bones. And there's just not, I don't know, it's not pretty to me. But again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Okay, so we've only got a few more minutes left.
In what? 30 minutes?
Well, yeah, so we can go eat.
Oh, yeah. Is that vape Apple certified?
Yeah. So we're going to take a couple of questions.
Sure.
And we'll run a little bit over 30 minutes, but that's okay. So go ahead with some questions.
Maybe make the S Pen to be outside the phone. No, that's the best. That's the best thing about the. That's the best thing about the Note is that it goes up inside the phone just like this, out of sight, out of mind. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but you get the extra power and stuff that they put in the Notes typically.
Hold on, Tracy ND, love you. Some tech guy rooted my S7 without my permission and said my software was old. I need help to unroot it. Help.
Unrooting? Oof.
Okay, hold on. I can handle that. If you just send an email to beamedupyt@gmail.com, I will be able to answer that and help you as best as I can. But I know how to unroot most phones. So just shoot an email to that and we'll discuss that later.
My favorite Samsung phone, Marvin, is I'd say the Note 9, but here's where I'm conflicted. And I planned to get the Note 9 because I did a lot of looking into it, and the pen, I use it all the time. And with the added capability of Bluetooth and all the other stuff that brings, and because they released the API for the Bluetooth part of it interacting with other apps, more app developers are going to be including functions designed specifically for the S Pen in the future. So it's only going to get better. But I really miss the size of the S8 than the S9. So when the S10 comes out, that's when I'll make the final decision and just be like, ooh, because I mean, obviously the S10 is going to have, S10 is going to have a banging camera, and there's the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner that they're talking about, and it's getting really hyped, and I'm super stoked.
Hi, Jesse.
Oh, I Droid Tech real quick. No, I don't like jailbroken iPhones because they become way less stable.
Very, very less stable. Jesse, if you would like to know about how the name was made, just search through the channel history and find the video that explains it.
Oh, and American Dad, I saw your comment along like a while ago, but I didn't get a chance to answer. I know we will agree to disagree on the iPhone stuff, but I really appreciate what you said about the editing and everything, because I put a lot of work into that, and I appreciate the acknowledgement.
All right, one more question. What do you think about the new Samsung Galaxy phones with the 5 cameras?
The 3 on the back and 2 on the front, I guess. I think it's great. I don't know. I hope the S10, I hope one version of the S10 is going to have the 3 cameras, because that's going to, I can't even imagine what that's going to do for them. It's going to be pimping. Like that's all it's going to be. Godsend, how often do I upgrade my phone? It could be, I think the most I ever did was twice a year. I'm not a baller. I can't just be like, well, time to go get another one. Nah.
All right.
Oh, Lucifer, someone.
Gede retracted his message.
Uh-oh.
I wonder what he was trying to say.
Oh,
no,
IZZ.
he said something earlier.
I won't be stopping, rest assured. When does the S10 come out? It's probably going to be announced, I would say, February 22nd during the Mobile World Congress. Even though there's rumors about it coming out earlier, historically speaking, it's always announced during the Mobile World Congress, February 22nd. Lucifer, someone I know told me that iris scanning is more secure than Face ID, but I would argue that Face ID is more convenient. What about me? Face ID is able to detect and perform the unlocking function from here's the phone and here's somebody's face from more angles than the iris scanning, which is a lot more limited and shallow. However, and this is something that I can't stand when people go and comment, Face ID is more secure than Samsung's crap, iris scan, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. Because...
You sounded like Nicolas Cage when you said it. Now it's not.
Really? That's a compliment. Thank you. Yeah. I love Nicolas Cage.
No, it's
but
not.
The reason why that's wrong is because Face ID has been fooled on more than one occasion by someone who looks just like the owner or the person to which the phone was registered. And you will not find any instance of the iris scanner being fooled. And
okay,
so technically facial recognition, so Samsung's facial recognition is more secure than that.
Okay, Apple's. But here is where all facial ID security fails. Okay, if you're ever asleep, somebody grabs your phone and then they immediately, you know, or they take a picture of you.
Does it require your eyes to be open?
Well,
Does
yeah,
the iPhone,
most of the time.
Does the iPhone Face ID
But
require your eyes to be open?
listen. They can take a picture of you with your eyes open, and they've proven it. They can just turn it around and look at your picture.
So Face ID can be fooled by a picture? I've heard that it can't because it does the whole 3D mapping, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, well, I mean, they did it.
I don't know. Point being, either way, it may be more convenient. But here's the thing. Oh, and this is something else I thought of that I've
now you got him beamed up.
I've seen the concept and stuff mentioned many times in the comments, and people are talking about how, you know, more convenient but more secure and this and that. And I think it was Benjamin Franklin that said, with more security comes less convenience. And it's freaking true. Because if you want maximum security, then it's way less convenient than just holding it up and looking at it. But holding it up and looking at it using Face ID is not as secure as as taking a few milliseconds longer and lining up your eyes with the circles that are easy to distinguish and having a more secure phone. And don't even get me started on the freaking removal of the fingerprints.
Okay, hold on. I need to download this real quick.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, you know what? Stop. Thank you so much for your service.
That's easy.
For NYPD. We appreciate your service.
Jason's an ex-police officer as well. They said gone from fingerprints to iris scanning because iris is 1 in a million. Fingerprints are 1 in 10.
Okay, so hold on. First thing, Apple. Okay. Second thing, go ahead, do one.
You mother. Stop. Getting people in the. by making your phone so expensive. That's fun. I like that.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and it's a huge button. Look at this. It's just like. Yeah, so no, but as far as
Anthony Jackson, hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for all of your support on Patreon, by the way.
As far as the facial ID, all facial ID stuff is basically insecure because Mythbusters did a thing with what do you call that, with like facial technology, I think.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure that they did, and they fooled a phone into opening. Or I don't know if it was them or who it was, but somebody fooled a phone into working with a fake face. So, them. Okay. But somebody commented that said, FFS.
Yeah.
Use a PIN code.
Oh.
And it's true. You use a PIN code, man. It's not that hard. Basically, what I attribute that to is just being lazy and, just use the stuff that's given to you and pick the most secure way. I mean, the most secure way would be an alphanumeric password.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Letters, numbers, and symbols. I mean, there's a reason that they make up these crazy
thank you,
120 bit, email passwords. So, it's just one of those things. So, I think that's going to kick us for today.
Thank you, Ethan.
Unless you want to do anything.
I believe that is all. That's the same thing I say when I'm ordering food. I believe that is all.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us on the stream. It gets a little crazy, but we're getting better at the live stream and stuff. And this is an extremely good idea. Have somebody sitting here kind of monitoring.
Thank you for whoever suggested that. Because
it's a good idea.
It's hella helpful.
And Gustavo, I want to give you a special shout out for just saying a bunch of funny stuff. It was really hilarious watching your comments, but I couldn't really stop him in the middle of it. So,
hey, Stuart, what's up, man?
Oh, Stuart Glover, what's up, buddy? How you
Stuart's
doing?
one of the Scotties. The Scotties are what we call the people that go on Patreon and support us for paying $10 or more per month, and they get a free piece of merch.
Okay.
A hoodie or a hat or a cup or a t-shirt.
Hold on, we have to stop. Abdullah is right. We did not talk about the S9 active. Somebody also replied to that saying that's because they didn't make an S9 active.
They didn't. I don't know why. Maybe the only reason I can think of is that number one, I think a mistake that they did, although I don't know the whole politics of it, is make the active models of the Galaxy series or the S series exclusive to one carrier, AT&T. AT&T is the only people who have ever had an active variant of the Samsung S phones. And had they made it available to other ones, I mean, that's literally tripling the sales possibilities for that phone.
He said, they were making but money. Why? That is my question.
I believe I just gave the answer.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Ooh, Star Trek has some watch faces available. Must go check it out.
Wait, are they Tizen? That's a big question. Are they Tizen watch faces or are they Wear OS?
Sam Kohanen. I disagree.
I mean, Android just by nature has its own loopholes.
Both of them have loopholes.
Yeah, both of them have loopholes that you can wiggle your way around.
Just ask Jennifer Lawrence.
Which was great, by the way. Anyway, I mean, they both have loopholes. In reality, no operating system that... So, for instance, Windows systems are perfect right out of the box. The moment that a human hand touches it and provides it any input and connects it to the internet, then those vulnerabilities come into play immediately. So there's going to be loopholes in everything.
Right.
You've got loopholes in every OS.
One more thing that I'll say about iOS versus Android as far as the security part of it goes, or being hacked or viruses. Number one.
Oh, Stuart says Tizen. Yes.
Sweet.
Oh, that's
awesome.
So cool.
Gotta check that out. Viruses. In the 5 or 6 years that I was in mobile phone sales and like daily exposure to people with, both iPhones and Android phones alike. Anytime somebody with an Android phone came up and told me that it was a virus, it was not. There was only been 2 instances where I have ever seen a debilitating actual virus on an Android phone that required a factory reset. Any of the other times, it was just a pop-up saying you had a virus, trying to scare you into taking a course of action that would result in you actually getting a virus. And on the iOS side, yes, it's a closed source operating system, but the way that malicious coders, we'll call it, take advantage and hack iOS is they make apps that are designed to fool people with, how do I say it nicely, low, I don't want to say...
No, don't say it. No, because
low technological savvy.
Not necessarily. There's some that are creative as hell.
There are some of the top grossing apps in the iOS App Store that con people into paying ridiculous amounts of money for a service that does not exist. And that is also true for MacBooks. Both areas, they both have, I don't know, have the comments stopped? Oh, no, They keep on. Okay, yeah, they stopped.
Sam.
But it's just, so both are, and that 16-year-old hacker that just hacked iCloud or their databases, it's been done multiple times. So they both have loopholes. No operating system is perfect.
So Sam made a comment that I already covered earlier. iOS and macOS runs Unix. Yes, that's true. Unix is a diversion or a branch off of Linux. Both of those systems, I mean, they've got their own holes. Servers get hacked all the time, and I guarantee you that Apple servers are based in Unix, Linux, and Apache. And those are all hackable things. I mean, you can get past an SSL. If somebody's determined enough, they can get into your stuff. I mean, it's not... Wait, what?
Cursed Rob, I'm doing well. Thank you.
I'll pay to see when Apple releases a car and calls it new and innovative. I love Gustavo's comments. But yes, iOS and iOS and all the Mac OSs like Lion and all that. Will you stop trying to eat cables?
Oh, she's just scratching on the ottoman. She does that. Phoebe's is getting, she's getting
Yeah,
crazy.
she's getting beamed up over here.
Right.
But everything's gonna have a loop. Everything, all the Windows phones, Windows, everything has loops. Mac has loops. You just gotta know where to look as a hacker. You gotta know where to look for those back doors.
Or how to exploit people.
And then you could just listen to the song Backdoor Man and label it your theme song. As a hacker. Girls go crazy for a backdoor man. Anyway.
That's pretty good, actually. Nice variation. I'm getting hot.
Yeah.
And
I
hungry.
told he asked me why I turned the fan. He's like, I never turn the fan on.
I didn't expect to get this like.
So, on that note, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I mean,
really appreciate it.
We've held 50 to 60 viewers for this entire cast.
Really, like I'm impressed. I'm delighted because
Yeah.
used to what it was like 25, 32.
And look,
like
we've got $4.6. I'm excited, and both of them were from euros. One of them was from my bear comment. Somebody called me a bear, a bearded bear. Yeah, do a video on iSheep. Yeah.
There's also I'm also planning on releasing a series of videos that I'm gonna call the name is not 100% concreted yet, but I'm gonna call it something like the iPhone users rescue kit or something. I'm gonna put it just make a whole separate playlist about how to help people get out of iOS and into Android while still keeping as many things that they're familiar with iOS as possible.
I need to address
that's my goal.
a comment.
What?
Really?
What?
I'm about to get beamed up.
Oh no, what's happened?
Okay, so it says compare a 10-year-old PC to a 10-year-old Mac. Mac still runs well. BS, and I'll tell you why.
Ask Lewis Rossman.
I used to work in a marketing department, and yeah, I'm a little amped about this one. I used to work in a marketing department, right? And we had the white iMacs, the desktops.
iMacs.
Oh yeah, it was an iMac, but
Macintosh.
I mean, no, it was like an iMac. I can't remember the actual
I don't know.
model of it, but it was the white one, the little 17.6 inch one. I think it was 17.6.
With the CRT screen.
No, it was after that. It was like the first kind of flat screen, all in one platform. That sucker was good while it ran.
Cursed Rob, I'm not there yet. I will be.
It was great while it ran. And after 2 years of heavy use, it stopped one day. There was no reboot. There was no nothing. The boss took it to Apple, and Apple was basically told them, well, you're going to have to buy a new one. You're going to have to buy a new $1,200 computer because we don't repair these anymore. And that was 2 years after it was brand new out of the box.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. So all those folks who commented about how Apple like supports and blah blah blah. Now they were talking about iPhones, to be fair. And since we're on the subject now, you've seen Lewis Rossman's videos before, right?
Yeah.
Dude, like the guy. If you want to talk about MacBooks versus Windows computers, and I'm sure most of you have already seen his stuff, just because he's way more of a prolific anti-Apple person than I am right now.
You guys need to collab.
Oh man. Oh, yeah. I would
send him an email.
I would poop myself.
Wait. Hold on. You will do what?
I would.
Oh, wait.
Turn the volume all the way down. Yeah. Hold on. I would myself.
Try it again. 1, 2, 3.
I would myself. It's got a delay on it.
Yeah,
it's hard
got
to do.
A little delay.
Okay.
But my point is, okay, and I cannot repair a Mac. I've tried. I used to be a PC repair tech for a long time. Like I would just go to people's houses and fix their broken networks and broken computers, whatever.
Jordan Walker, yes, I do.
And I can easily replace and basically build any PC ever. And almost guaranteed I'm going to get out cheaper on the parts for a $300 computer that was $300 total to build it, then I would be saying, okay, well, Apple's basically telling you you're going to have to buy a new $1,500 computer. What? This one's 6 months old. Right, I get it, but they have proprietary parts, proprietary tools, and they don't have a diagnostic platform for you to be able to diagnose what's going on. You are basically screwed into going to their shop
Quite
so
literally.
that way they can sell you a new one. That's their job in life. And
Is to bend you over.
I have never, ever, ever seen a laptop, iMac, or an iPhone last 10 years. I have seen a PC last 10 years.
Khaled,
One of my personal PCs lasted 10 years with upgrades. It was a mini ITX, and it started with 512 megabytes of RAM and ended up with a 2 gigabytes of RAM and a 2 terabyte hard drive. 10 years later, went from Windows, Windows Vista up to Windows 10, and it worked. I hated Vista, by the way. Total crap. But it went all the way up to Windows 10, and then eventually it just kind of bogged itself down, eventually crapped out. But I could have fixed that if I needed it. And I can start it still, but it just kind of like...
Jennifer's still running XP. All right.
Drags. You know, so you get my point. It's not even a comparison, because I could spend $80 in parts, fix that thing, and have it running like brand new, rather than buying a brand new $1,500 Mac, or $1,700 Mac, or a $2,200 Mac. It's their job to sell you things, and
way above cost.
At way
ridiculous
way above,
profit margins. I
mean, you're talking probably 600% markup at least.
iPhone 10X Max it costs like $400 and something to make, and
they charge $1,000.
Estimated. I mean, nobody knows for certain, but it's estimated by people who have made a name for themselves for estimating the actual cost of making phones to be like $450 or some odd. Oh, and Rob, Cursed Rob, you've asked this question a couple times. What would I prefer the most from the S8, S8 Plus, or S9, S9 Plus? Faster Bixby? No, maybe not faster Bixby. I want them to put more effort into it, and they are, and they have, but just it's got great potential. It just needs to. And I feel like I opened a floodgate with just saying the word Bixby, just because of that. But
I just learned what Bixby was, so I don't own a Samsung device. I do enjoy them, but I couldn't really afford one until here in just a few weeks. I might be getting one, but Bixby is very nice, but it's mainly for like translation, live, like real-time translation. But
that's Bixby Vision. But yeah, I mean that part's awesome.
But most of the stuff you can kind of find it on Google Play Store. So like Google Translate, which also does live translation. I have noticed that the Google Translate is a lot slower than Bixby. So, the Bixby Vision, it's a lot slower over on other Androids. It doesn't, So go ahead, sorry.
Let's see. Oh, Huawei. Gustavo, I like Huawei. I have nothing against Huawei, but I don't have near as much experience with them as I do with Samsung, so I don't have an authoritative opinion on it. We're very hungry, and it's 53 minutes in, so we're going to end the stream. We're going to stop beaming and streaming, but the video is coming out tomorrow with that little animation thing that I showed y'all earlier, and
what? Sorry, somebody was asking me to go see the new Venom. My buddy Jesse.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. I don't want to open up that can of worms, though.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second. Meanwhile, thank you all very, very much for staying and watching. First stream I've done in quite a while. And stay beaming.
Love you guys.